The reality TV world has just been rocked to its core, and fans can't believe what's unfolding. After years of drama, betrayals, and behind-the-scenes tension, the unthinkable has happened. Love and Hip Hop, one of the most talked about franchises in television history, has reportedly been shut down indefinitely. And all fingers are pointing at a shocking on-set explosion between Yandy Smith Harris and Rasheeda Frost. Sources say this wasn't just a petty argument. It was a full-blown emotional war that turned the final day of filming into an uncontrollable disaster. Insiders claim that heated words quickly escalated into screaming matches, threats were made, and personal secrets were thrown out in front of everyone. Even veteran producers were caught off guard, with one insider allegedly calling it the most toxic moment in franchise history. Fans are already flooding social media with reactions, calling it the end of an era. Now, rumors are spreading like wildfire that the network had no choice but to pull the plug after the chaos that unfolded on set. So what really happened behind the cameras? Why did Yandy and Rasheeda's feud spiral out of control? And is this truly the end of Love and Hip Hop as we know it? The tension had been building for weeks, but no one expected it to explode the way it did. Production had already been on edge after multiple scheduling delays and heated exchanges between cast members, but everything took a darker turn when rumors started swirling about a private conversation between Yandy and Rasheeda that allegedly got back to Kirk and Mendices. According to people close to the set, Yandy had confided in Rasheeda about something deeply personal regarding her relationship with Mendices, something that was never meant to go public. But somehow, that information found its way back to Mendices, and he was furious. He confronted Yandy in the dressing room, demanding to know why she was airing their dirty laundry to the cast. Yandy, blindsided and emotional, immediately suspected Rasheeda of breaking her trust. The vibe on set shifted. Crew members described the atmosphere as tense, almost suffocating. Everyone was walking on eggshells, waiting for the inevitable clash. And it came during a routine scene shoot meant to feature all the main couples. The scene was simple on paper, just a wrap-up discussion at a cast dinner. But beneath the surface, emotions were boiling. When the camera started rolling, Yandy was quiet at first, choosing to ignore Rasheeda's glances. Rasheeda, however, wasn't backing down. She leaned over the table and said in a low voice that still caught the mic, "You really think I'd do that to you?" Yandy looked up slowly, her eyes already filled with tears. "I trusted you," she whispered, voice shaking. The room went silent. Everyone froze, watching the two women as if time had stopped. Kirk tried to intervene, mumbling something about clearing the air, but Rasheeda shut him down with a glare. "No, let her talk," she said, her voice rising. "If she's gonna accuse me, she better say it with her chest." Yandy didn't back down. She stood up, hands trembling, and snapped, "You smiled in my face while throwing me under the bus. I thought you were my sister." At that moment, all hell broke loose. What was supposed to be a quiet wrap-up scene turned into chaos. The producers tried to cut the scene, but the cameras kept rolling. Mendices got up, pulling Yandy back gently while trying to calm her down. But his presence only fueled Rasheeda's frustration. She accused him of manipulating the situation to make Yandy look innocent. Kirk jumped in, raising his voice, telling Rasheeda to chill before things got out of hand. But it was already too late. Shouting filled the room. Plates were pushed aside, drinks spilled, and crew members rushed in to separate the cast. Fans would later claim the leaked audio captured one of the most intense moments in Love and Hip Hop history when Yandy, with tears streaming down her face, yelled, "I lost everything because I trusted the wrong people." Rasheeda fired back, calling her fake and accusing her of playing the victim. After the scene was shut down, production went into crisis mode. Some cast members stormed off set, refusing to continue filming. Security was called in to escort people to their trailers. Multiple producers were seen arguing in the hallway, visibly stressed and unsure how to proceed. The energy was toxic, and it wasn't just the usual reality TV drama. This felt personal. Word spread quickly. Within hours, rumors hit social media that the cast had walked off the set. Fans were already speculating online, with clips leaking of the confrontation. Hashtags like hashtag Team Yandy and hashtag Rasheeda started trending. People were picking sides, debating who betrayed who, and questioning whether the show had gone too far. But behind the scenes, things were even worse than anyone knew. Mendices reportedly threatened to leave the show for good if the producers didn't address the leak that had sparked the argument. Kirk demanded that scenes be re-edited to show the full truth, while Rasheeda reportedly refused to film any further confessionals. Yandy, heartbroken and emotionally drained, left the set without speaking to anyone. Her team later claimed she wasn't in a mental state to continue. The production team held emergency meetings. Executives from the network got involved, flying in to mediate the situation. They feared the situation was spiraling beyond control. They wanted to salvage the season, maybe reshoot the final episodes, but the cast wasn't having it. Trust was broken, friendships were shattered, and worst of all, the audience had caught wind of it all before the editors even had a chance to spin the narrative. The damage was done. Crew members were told to pause all scheduled shoots. Emails were sent out telling everyone to stand by for further updates. Some insiders even claimed the producers had started pulling archive footage to piece together a possible alternate finale, something that could wrap the show without needing the cast back on set. But the deeper issue wasn't the footage, it was the fallout. What had started as a simple breach of trust between two close castmates had erupted into a scandal big enough to threaten the entire show. Friends became enemies, alliances shifted, and loyalty was called into question. The love and hip-hop family was no longer united. It was divided, maybe beyond repair. As Yandy sat alone in her trailer, wiping away the last of her makeup through tears, she whispered to someone off camera, "I can't do this anymore." Those words, later leaked to a gossip blog, sent shockwaves through the fan base. Many believed it was her unofficial exit from the show. Meanwhile, Rasheeda was spotted leaving the lot with Kirk, avoiding questions from reporters camped outside. Fans swarmed social media with speculation, trying to piece together what happened. But the truth was, no one knew how far this would go. No one knew that just a few hours later, a decision would be made that would shock not only the cast, but the entire entertainment industry. It was just after midnight when the official word came down. Filming on Love and Hip Hop was to be suspended indefinitely. Production was halted, cast members were advised not to speak to the media, and a temporary blackout was placed on all behind-the-scenes footage. But the damage had already leaked. Within minutes of the decision, industry insiders began sharing screenshots of internal emails and confidential messages. The headlines started rolling in. Blogs, gossip pages, and fan accounts exploded with rumors. Love and Hip Hop canceled. Yandy and Rasheeda feud kills the show. It didn't take long for the story to go viral. Inside the production trailers, panic was setting in. One of the assistant producers reportedly broke down in tears, saying she'd never seen anything like it in her 10 years with the franchise. Executives were scrambling to contain the situation, but every minute brought more chaos. Someone had leaked footage from earlier in the day, raw, unedited clips of Yandy and Rasheeda's emotional blow-up, including a moment when Yandy screamed, "This ain't no storyline, this is my real life." The video was reposted hundreds of times before being taken down, but the damage was irreversible. Fans now had a taste of the real drama, and they wanted more. Mendices was furious. He blamed production for allowing things to spiral and accused them of exploiting his family for ratings. Behind closed doors, he threatened legal action, claiming the leaked footage violated his contract. Yandy, meanwhile, went silent. No social media posts, no statements, just complete radio silence. Her team released a vague message asking for privacy, which only added fuel to the fire. Rasheeda, on the other hand, wasn't hiding. She took to Instagram Live the next morning, sitting beside Kirk in their kitchen, visibly exhausted but defiant. "You don't want to know what really happened," she began. "I'll tell you, I didn't betray nobody. I told the truth. If that's a crime, then I'm guilty." The live stream had over 200,000 viewers in the first 5 minutes. Fans flooded the comments, some supporting her, others accusing her of being the reason the show collapsed. Kirk tried to calm things down, saying they were just trying to defend themselves. "We've been quiet too long," he said, his tone calm but firm. "There's more to this story than you'll know." But every word they said seemed to make things worse. Other cast members started chiming in. One of the newer girls from the Atlanta cast posted a series of cryptic tweets suggesting there had been drama between Yandy and Rasheeda for months, and producers had been ignoring it for the sake of ratings. Another former cast member went live claiming this wasn't the first time things got physical behind the scenes, and that the network had been covering up stuff for years. Fans were stunned. What started as a single argument had opened the floodgates. Now everyone was talking. Bloggers resurfaced old interviews where cast members hinted at on-set tension. Editors who had once worked on the show anonymously revealed that producers often pushed emotional buttons just to capture more intense scenes. One even claimed that a producer encouraged Rasheeda to confront Yandy that day, thinking it would lead to a powerful moment, not a full-on breakdown. As the drama unfolded publicly, network executives held a high-level emergency meeting. They were torn. On one hand, the scandal had drawn unprecedented attention to the show. Social media was on fire. Even mainstream outlets were picking up the story. On the other hand, the show's reputation was at stake. And worse, so was the safety and emotional well-being of the cast. Legal teams began reviewing contracts. And for the first time in years, there was serious talk about whether the show should be permanently shelved. By day 3, chaos turned into fallout. Yandy refused to return any calls from the producers. Yandy's family released a statement saying she was suffering from anxiety due to the pressure and harassment she faced, not just from the media but from the show itself. Rasheeda canceled all her press appearances, and Kirk posted a long message saying their family was being dragged through the mud for something they didn't start. Fans, meanwhile, continued picking sides, creating entire threads analyzing every second of the leaked footage, pointing out body language, tone, and even background whispers. It had become a full-blown internet investigation. But the most shocking twist came on the 4th day, when a staff member leaked an internal memo sent from the network's senior ep of reality programming. The memo stated that all remaining production and post-production activities for the current season of Love and Hip Hop would be paused, effective immediately. The reason listed was unrecoverable cast conflict and public breach of internal content. The words hit hard. Unrecoverable. Paused indefinitely. Even though no one used the word canceled, everyone knew what it meant. This wasn't a break. This was the end. Fans were devastated. Some were angry. Others mourned the end of what had become more than just a show. It was part of their lives. For over a decade, Love and Hip Hop had given viewers access to the raw, messy, emotional journeys of artists, entrepreneurs, and couples trying to make it in the industry. Now it was gone, taken down by the very thing that made it great, the realness. And yet, amid the grief and confusion, rumors of even more drama began to surface. Some sources claimed the feud between Yandy and Rasheeda didn't start with the leak. It went back months. Allegedly, there had been a secret business deal that went sour. Others suggested that Kirk and Yandy had their own beef brewing behind the scenes, and that the women's fallout was just a symptom of a larger rift. Then came the biggest bombshell yet, an unconfirmed report that a physical altercation had occurred after filming shut down, and someone had to be escorted off the lot by security. The network refused to comment on the report, but fans were already running with it. Theories spread like wildfire. Some said Kirk swung on Yandy. Others claimed Yandy slapped a producer. None of it could be confirmed, but in the world of reality TV, the truth almost didn't matter. What mattered was the narrative. And the narrative now was that Love and Hip Hop had imploded under the weight of its own drama. But the question still lingered. What exactly happened in that final meeting when production was pulled? And why was everyone involved suddenly afraid to speak on the record? Behind closed doors, the silence was deafening. Producers were instructed to shut down their phones. Legal teams began calling every member of the cast, one by one, issuing strict warnings. Do not comment, they were told. Do not post. Do not engage. It felt like a gag order, and for good reason. The network was panicking. They had already received cease and desist letters from both Yandy and Mandisi's legal team, citing emotional trauma, breach of safety, and character defamation. According to insiders, Yandy had completely broken down after the fallout, locking herself in a hotel suite and refusing to eat or speak for nearly 24 hours. Meanwhile, Rasheeda wasn't faring much better. Though she kept a brave face in public, sources close to her said she cried herself to sleep every night since the incident. Kirk, always the strategist, started pulling strings behind the scenes. He reportedly reached out to a former executive producer, hoping to arrange a private sit-down with the network to plead for their side of the story to be told. But the damage had grown bigger than any apology or explanation. The internet had taken over, and nothing could stop the tidal wave of speculation and outrage. Mandisi's, for his part, remained quiet, but his silence spoke volumes. Fans noticed he had removed all promotional posts for the show from his page, a subtle but loud statement. Some began calling it a digital divorce from Love and Hip Hop. Others believed he was preparing to sue. One blog claimed they had documents showing Mandisi's and Yandy were in talks with a rival network to produce a tell-all documentary. Whether it was true or not didn't matter, viewers were hooked. And just when everyone thought the story had peaked, a shocking piece of audio surfaced. A fan account uploaded what they claimed was a leaked phone call between a crew member and a friend, secretly recorded the night the final episode was shot. In the audio, the crew member described a chaotic, terrifying moment where security had to separate Mandisi's and Kirk, with voices raised and objects thrown. "I thought somebody was gonna get hurt," the voice said. "It wasn't just an argument. It was war." The clip went viral instantly. Even though the authenticity of the audio was never confirmed, fans believed it. They dissected every syllable, trying to identify the voices, matching them to previous behind-the-scenes interviews. People were desperate to know the truth. Had things really gotten that violent? Had Kirk and Mandisi's really gone toe-to-toe while the cameras were still rolling? And if so, why wasn't that shown in the footage? Some insiders claimed it had been filmed, but due to legal pressure and network liability, that portion was locked away, never to see the light of day. Others whispered that a secret reel existed, unedited, raw, and dangerously explosive. Fans began demanding it be released, even starting hashtags like #ReleaseSaidFinalReel and #LoveWars. With pressure mounting from all sides, someone finally cracked. A former editor, long retired from the franchise, came forward anonymously in a podcast interview. Disguised voice, hidden identity. He claimed the producers knew exactly what they were doing when they scheduled that final sit-down between Yandy and Rasheeda. It was intentional, he said. They knew it would blow up. They always do. It's how the show stays alive. When asked why things went so wrong this time, his response was chilling. They pushed too far. They forgot these are real people, not just characters. Fans were outraged. What started as messy entertainment had turned into something far darker. Questions of exploitation, emotional manipulation, and unethical production tactics filled the air. Commentators and think pieces popped up overnight. Major outlets began running articles asking if reality TV had gone too far. Some called for an investigation into how cast members were treated behind the scenes. Others demanded that the entire Love and Hip Hop brand be reevaluated or shut down permanently. And while the world debated, Yandy finally broke her silence. At exactly 8:00 p.m. on a Sunday night, she posted a black screen on Instagram with just one sentence. "I'm not okay." That was it. Nothing else. No caption, no follow-up. But within minutes, the post had hundreds of thousands of likes and nearly 50,000 comments. Fans flooded the post with love and concern. Even celebrities weighed in, calling her brave for speaking out. Rasheeda responded in her own way. She posted a childhood photo of herself with the caption, "Trying to remember who I was before the fame." Again, fans swarmed the comments, offering support, but also begging for answers. It became clear that both women were deeply affected by what had happened, not just the argument, but the aftermath, the public scrutiny, the emotional toll. The network, sensing a possible collapse of their entire brand, made a bold move. They issued a public statement, one that took many by surprise. In it, they acknowledged the pain caused by the final episode, apologized for failing to protect the cast, and announced that all future filming would be paused indefinitely while they conducted an internal review. They promised transparency, healing, and accountability. But for many, the gesture came too late, especially for the fans. They had followed these stories for years, invested in these relationships, laughed and cried with these people. Now it felt like the curtain had been pulled back, and what they saw wasn't entertainment. It was exploitation. It was heartbreak. Still, there were whispers, rumors that a spin-off was already in development, one that would center around the fallout itself. Some said it would be a limited series. Others said it would follow Yandy and Rasheeda as they navigated life post-love and hip-hop. One source claimed Rasheeda had been offered her own solo show, focusing on her healing journey. Whether any of it would actually happen was unknown. But in the world of reality TV, endings are never really the end. And yet, through it all, fans couldn't stop asking one thing: how did it get this far? How did a simple disagreement between two women turn into a televised implosion that brought down an empire? The truth, it seemed, was buried beneath layers of secrets, emotions, and contracts. And somewhere in that silence, something still didn't add up. The silence that followed was the kind that screams. Fans waited. Cast members ghosted. Producers ducked into shadows. And yet, in the middle of all this noise and absence, a storm was still brewing. The one thing nobody expected was someone else speaking out, someone who had stayed quiet for years, someone who knew both Yandy and Rasheeda better than most. It was Karlie Redd. Out of nowhere, she went live. Her face was bare, her tone was cold, and her words, they cut deeper than any blade. You'll want to know what really happened. Fine, I'm done protecting people who wouldn't do the same for me. The truth is, this fallout didn't start on the episode. It didn't even start this season. It's been building for years. Jaws dropped. Thousands watched live as she spilled everything. Claims that Yandy and Rasheeda had been faking their friendship for the cameras, that their husbands couldn't stand each other, that old grudges had never healed. They played sisters on camera, she said, but off camera, it was war. As if that wasn't enough, Karlie dropped one more bomb before ending the stream. She said a certain scene, one never aired, showed Rasheeda accusing Yandy of leaking private text messages to a gossip blog. And that, Karlie said, is what made Kirk snap. Fans lost their minds. Within minutes, the live was reposted everywhere. Blogs ran with the headline, Karlie Redd exposes the real cause of the love and hip-hop shutdown. People were dissecting every second of her video, screenshotting facial expressions, analyzing pauses, searching for lies. Yandy didn't respond, not directly, but Rasheeda did. Just a few hours later, he posted a quote to the story: "The loudest one in the room is usually the most guilty." No tag, no name, but everyone knew who it was aimed at. Kirk wasn't silent either. He posted a throwback picture of him and Rasheeda from 10 years ago, captioned, "Real love don't need an audience." Again, no names, no hashtags, but it was enough to get everyone speculating again. At this point, the show's shutdown didn't even feel like a mystery. It felt like an avalanche that had been waiting to happen. Every day, more and more secrets surfaced. Old clips from previous seasons started circulating again. Fans began rewatching episodes, claiming they saw signs, red flags, subtle digs they missed the first time around. Look at how Yandy looked at Rasheeda for good. Rasheeda, on the other hand, is reportedly entertaining offers from other reality platforms, but with full creative control. Neither woman has agreed to do any more ensemble shows. And Kirk, he's said to be furious that the brand he helped build was allowed to fall apart in such a public and humiliating way. But the biggest twist came in the form of a leaked email. Allegedly sent from a top executive, the email outlined internal plans to officially end the current season with a farewell special. Not a reunion, not a redemption arc, but a full closure episode. The subject line of the email read, "End of an era." The special would feature past highlights, voiceovers from key cast members, and a final message thanking fans for years of support. When asked if Yandy and Rasheeda would be part of it, the response was simple, unlikely. So here we are, a show that once ruled Monday nights now lying in shambles, a cast divided, a fandom heartbroken, and two women, Yandy and Rasheeda, who walked in as sisters and walked out as strangers. Their fallout didn't just break the internet, it broke the show. And while some fans still hold on to hope that it's all just one giant publicity stunt deep down, they know better. They've seen too much, felt too much. The truth is, some things can't be edited, some wounds can't be covered with music and slow motion clips, and some friendships, no matter how many seasons they survive, can't survive betrayal. As the world watches this chapter close, one thing is certain, reality TV may never be the same again. But even now, even with the cameras off, the story isn't over. So now that the dust has settled, the cameras have stopped rolling, and the cast has gone silent, what do you think really happened behind the scenes? Was this just another reality TV stunt gone wrong? Or did love and hip-hop finally push too far, letting real-life pain explode on screen for the world to see? Was it the producer's manipulation? Or was this fallout between Yandy and Rasheeda always waiting to erupt? We've seen betrayals, blowouts, and breakdowns before, but nothing like this. The shutdown of an entire show? That's history. And the silence from both women since? Even louder than all the screaming that went down on set. Fans are still shocked, emotions are still raw, and honestly, we're all still searching for answers. But now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on? Do you think Yandy was right to call out the show's manipulation? Or was Rasheeda just defending her truth? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. This isn't just a 10 moment anymore. It's a pop culture earthquake, and your voice matters. If you were hooked by this story, hit that like button to show love. And don't forget to subscribe because trust us, the drama doesn't stop here. We've got more exclusive updates, behind the scenes tea, and shocking confessions coming your way. Turn on those notifications so you never miss the next jaw-dropping chapter. Because if this really is the end of love and hip-hop, you better believe the way it ended will be talked about for years. Stay tuned, stay locked in, and as always, keep sipping that tea.